Yes.
Good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon, everyone.
Sorry.
Welcome, folks. My name is Todd Samsel. I'm the president of Friends of Virgin Islands National Park. This is our final Ocean Week seminar. We've had a great week with some great speakers, and I'm excited about today as we celebrate Ocean Conservancy's International Ocean Month in October. And we've done cleanups, we've done seminars, and so we're thrilled that you all can join us. And I'm very pleased to introduce today's speaker. Harith Wickrema is a friend and an important partner with Island Green Living Association here on St. John. Harith, welcome. Glad you could join us.
Hi, Harith.
Make sure you remember to unmute if you're going to speak. Harith is still with us, right? Well, Harith was here. Oh, there he is.
Unmute.
There you go.
Unmute.
Okay. I can't see my screen, but I guess you can hear me, right?
We can hear you, Harith, and welcome. I'm glad you could join us. I know your plan for today is to make this very much a discussion about the important work that Island Green has been doing around our sunscreen ban for the safety of our corals and the partnership there. And so we're thrilled you could join us. I'll let you do a little bit of an introduction before we get to some questions, okay?
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining and caring about our island and our marine life. One of the things I guess the sunscreen has become an important part along with the coral disease that we are experiencing. And as all of you know, coral is a very important part for the environment, global warming, and what can we do about that? So I'm Harith Wickrema, president of Island Green Living Association. As some of you may know, Island Green is a non-profit organization here on St. John. It's 15 years old, and I've been only involved since about 2012, I believe. And I want to thank Todd and Tanya for inviting me to be part of the Friends Going Green Undersea virtual seminar series. And I will speak to you today about safe sunscreen choices. Toxic sunscreen is now banned in the US Virgin Islands. Sunscreen containing chemical ingredients, oxybenzone, oxynoxate, and octocrylene, we call it the 3 O's, can no longer be used, purchased, or imported here. I'm proud to be part of Island Green that took part in providing testimony and educating senators about the critical role safe sunscreen plays in the health of our coral, marine life, and our own health. And I look, as you know, it's also a hormone disruptor and endocrine disruptor as well. Some of the chemicals in with oxybenzone, oxynoxate, and octocrylene. The US Virgin Islands historic toxic 3 O's sunscreen ban officially went into effect on March 30th, or 2020. Unfortunately, with the COVID-19, we had planned a very impactful event at Trunk Bay, but that had to be called off due to the height of the COVID-19 situation. But I'm hoping that sometime in January or early February, we can relaunch it and remind not only the residents, I think most residents are aware of it and practicing it, but it's the tourists. And we are hoping the Department of Tourism will do its part. So far, they have not done nothing. But Todd is part of a team that is speaking with tourism to get the ball rolling on it. On March 30th, we mean the Virgin Islands, became the first in the United States to implement a ban on sunscreen chemicals that are known to destroy coral and cause health and risk to people. Similar laws in Hawaii and Key West, Florida, are set to commence January of 2021. USVI ban bars oxynoxate in addition to chemicals included in Hawaii and Key West. The reason oxybenzone and octocrylene. The octocrylene was included because avobenzone cannot be manufactured without octocrylene. To get the 3-O rhyming, we put octocrylene, and that eliminates avobenzone, which is very harmful as well. We owe a debt of gratitude to Senator Janelle Sorrow and Senator Marvin Blyden and the Governor Bryan for their dedication in seeing these protections become law. Likewise, we had testimony from Tom Kroll, Dr. David Minner, Iowa State Program, Stream to Sea founder Autumn Blum, Christian Edwards from the DPNR, and Craig Downs, who really helped me with the knowledge and the data from the Heritage Environmental Laboratory and many others, including the NOAA. This has been in works for almost 3 years. Now, one would think once this is passed, everything is going to be great. But unbeknownst to me and most others, there was an amendment made without really letting many people know that they want to delay the implementation. And that was passed in January. And they put it to a very successful bill so they would go undetected. And the senators were not given the proper information. But luckily, the governor had to, that weekend he was visiting St. John. He met with Todd and myself and a whole bunch of others. He toured National Park Friends and Gifted School and Island Green Living. And we were able to convince him to do a line item veto, and it stayed the course. So the reason I'm sharing that is, I'm sure most of you know the saying, there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. You never know when special interest gets in. But there is one wholesaler who brings things into the territory. He started to order in additional quantity just before the deadline was going, and he wanted to extend it. What they don't understand is that we are a tourism-based economy, and if we don't preserve our marine environment, and if there are no coral to snorkeling, we won't have tourism. Fish will be dead too. And I don't think that's the message they're getting. Some of the, I think St. John is 100% in compliance. Chelsea Drugstore will show a slide of that. They have a tremendous variety of sunscreen available in St. John. Also the starfish. And unfortunately, Dolphin was one of those who were not properly advised by this wholesaler or the distributor. But with one phone call to Neil, within 24 hours, he pulled out everything out of his shelves on April 2nd. So kudos to him. When he was educated, he took action. So it's a matter of educating. I don't think many want to fight it. It's the lack of knowledge. For that is where we need to get the tourism to let people know before they arrive what is acceptable and what is not. So one of the ideas we put out there, Charles, as part of this as well, that when they arrive at the airport, just like they offer a rum sampling, ask them if they have anything to declare whether oxybenzone, the 3-O. If they do, we'll take it and give them a free sample of a good one, along with a coupon to be redeemed at a local retailer. But we want to keep the local retailers in business as well. So we can try to direct some business to them who will be selling reef safe sunscreen. Not only are the toxic 3-Os known as carcinogens and cause hormonal changes in humans, but according to NOAA, there's a scientific evidence indicating that they are deadly to coral and threaten overall reef health. They cause coral bleaching harm, bleaching, harm, and eventually kill coral larvae by damaging the DNA and act as endocrine disruptors. We have already lost 80% of the coral reefs in the Caribbean due to pollution and variety of other issues. We can't afford to lose more. This is critical outside the Caribbean as well. The good news is the alarm bells have been ringing in the US Congress too. Both the House and the Senate have introduced a version of oxybenzone oxynoxate Impact Study Act of 2019, which directs the EPA to study the impact of these ingredients on environment and public health. To date, this is still ongoing, but NOAA scientist Dr. Cheryl Woodley cautions, while additional research may incrementally add to our understanding of its impact to additional coral reef species, additional research of impact of oxybenzone should not be prerequisite to management action. In late February 2019, FDA released a proposal to update regulations for sunscreen, including steps to address the safety of active ingredients. A long overdue initiative. Reef Safe Act of 2019 seeks to more closely regulate claims of reef safe products, combating false labeling. In January 2020, the FDA reported on the results of an extended clinical study showing that 6 chemical sunscreen actives, avobenzone, oxybenzone, octocrylene, homosalate, octisalate, and octinoxate, available in 4 commercially available sunscreen products, lotions, aerosol, spray, and non-aerosol spray and pump spray, enter the bloodstream even after a single application and can remain in the body for extended periods. It's also been cited that pregnant women are in most danger, but sometimes birth deforms also is a possibility. Although they're not ready to ban the ingredients across the board, throughout the US, without further study, findings did confirm that currently there are only 2 ingredients, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, that are generally recognized as safe and effective. And they are both mineral-based available in mineral sunscreens. Mineral sunscreen shield by physical blocking of UV rays from the body. Chemical sunscreens work by absorbing the sun's UV rays and then through a chemical reaction, dissipating them. 3 of the most dangerous chemical ingredients, which happen to also be the most prevalent, are oxybenzone, octinoxate, and octocrylene. The very toxic trios that are now banned in the US Virgin Islands. This law holds an especially dear place in our heart. Island Green began the effort to restrict dangerous chemicals back in 2016. Something that's really important is the Republic of Palau and Aruba and Bonaire also approved measures banning oxybenzone and oxynoxate. Not only are the toxic trios known carcinogens that cause hormonal changes in humans, but according to NOAA, there's a scientific evidence indicating they are deadly to coral and threaten the reef health, as I have shared earlier. As we are continuing to discuss this, you may ask, why is coral so important? Probably I don't need to say that in this, I see fairly educated, erudite audience here, but if need be, I can go to that. The coral toxicity begins at concentration equivalent to 1 drop in an Olympic-sized pool, or 62 parts per trillion, according to Washington Post. Levels of oxybenzone in some coral reefs in the USVI were 20 to 40 times higher than tolerable levels, resulting in serious damage to our ecosystem. There was an unexpected benefit from COVID-19. Not sure how many of you are in St. John. We went to Trunk Bay, to Maho, and hardly anyone there. Throughout the day, it's a clear blue, emerald green colors in the ocean. Now, before that, when the cruise ships bring visitors, it's beautiful in the morning. When they leave, there's a brown sheen, glimmering or like dazzling on top of the waters. That's the sunscreen that's been laid out. In fact, the governor said he went to Megan's Bay and he saw the similar thing many, many times. That is, since the governor has personally experienced it, and with the support of his wife and the daughter, it was a no-brainer. The governor said, absolutely. One of the things that's important to know, we're not telling people not to wear sunscreen. EWG website gives close to over 200 sunscreen products that are better than the average. So there are plenty available. And so it's not, but our first choice is rash guard, wear a hat, and then this sunscreen. So by doing that, you're not introducing anything bad to your system or to the environment. Todd, do you want me to continue to go on? I can keep going, or do you want me to take some questions to break the monotony, or what should I do?
Do folks have any questions right now for Harith?
Yeah, I've been wondering, have heard or read that there is another issue, there's a virus abroad in the coral as well, and that this has been brought in by divers. Is that correct according to your information? And if so, is any of that possibly related to the sunscreen issue?
So my guess, Harith, is Mary's probably talking about stony coral tissue loss disease. We actually had a seminar on that this week, and
sorry, I missed that.
no, it's okay. It's recorded. If you're interested, you'll be able to get it from our website. But Harith, I don't know if there's anything you want to say about that, and I can certainly add my thoughts.
No, I think that is a little beyond my intellectual capacity here. So it's Dr. Marilyn Brandt at UVI is an expert in that, and Paul Jobs is, they are doing some fantastic research, and I've had their knowledge shared with me in order for me to present to the senators and to the public in getting the message out. I think certainly it's very plausible. And what you're saying, Mary, it's a very fragile, delicate environment, and we need to preserve. One thing I saw, Todd, is lack of signage that can educate the tourists. I still see tourists smoking on the beaches in Trunk Bay, including one of the national park rangers was smoking too, and then throwing the cigarette butt out. Or when they're going snorkeling, they could stand on coral. That if we can do more education, to my feeling, most people don't want to harm the environment. They do it because they don't know any different.
Right.
I've seen smaller signs here and there, but we can do more education when they arrive. Like now, I believe some countries, I'm not sure the US, other countries, when you arrive into a country, they give you a pamphlet. This is what you have to do, the mask, the washing hands, the social distancing, like that. When they arrive into St. John, let's give a card that tells these are things they need to observe by going into the water. We can have the boat captains and all announce it and try to do a plan that before you dock a sailboat, people go snorkeling, they tell them this. Doesn't have to be even St. John, it could be BVI anywhere, because we're all one world end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you get somebody who doesn't believe in it and they want to deliberately harm the environment, no one's going to disobey that, in my opinion, or not adhere to those requests.
So, Harith, with the zinc and titanium products, does any of that come off into the water and leave a residue in the water?
So it's a mineral base, right? It's
Yeah.
a natural. So the ocean could have any minerals and natural stuff. So it's not, it's proven not to be harmful to coral,
That's good.
to best of my knowledge. Again, my main purpose is to be advocate for safe sunscreen that has been identified by experts and professionals. I'm just a messenger of the message, and hopefully share with people why this is so important. I have some more information about how the oxybenzone is going to get into the bloodstream of humans. This ingredient can disrupt hormones by acting like estrogen. Studies have shown lower testosterone levels in adolescent boys, hormone changes in men, shorter pregnancies, and disrupted birth weights. A Swiss study found oxybenzone in 85% of breast milk samples. This is simply not acceptable. These chemicals also cause allergic reactions in many people. The weight of evidence built over the last 20 years of research and hundreds of peer-reviewed scientific articles demonstrate that chemicals like oxybenzone are not only dangerous to the users, but toxic to corals and other marine life. What can we do to protect ourselves and marine life? Unfortunately, oxybenzone is currently found in 2/3 of all chemical-based sunscreen sold in the US. But mineral sunscreen containing non-nano zinc oxide, that's important to know that. They need to be non-nano zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are highly effective and much safer for the environment and our health.
Okay.
Again, I say here, if you've got a rash guard, and I wear rash guard long sleeve, and you can wear pants or shorts, that's going to cover your body. There are a plethora of sunscreen choices from small manufacturers, including Stream to Sea, Badger, Caribbean Soul, and other members of the Safe Sunscreen Council. And we have listed this on the Island Green Living website, islandgreenliving.org. And Stream to Sea, for full disclosure, does make a donation based on the sales of Stream to Sea in the Virgin Islands. And Badger is a much larger company, and they've expressed an interest. They were one of the companies going to come on March 30th to launch this in Trunk Bay.
Mhm.
And Caribbean Soul is being fully engaged in the Virgin Islands as well. So these are some good products that meet or exceed this, the minimum standards. I've been to Walgreens, and if you go to get the Walgreens private label sunscreen, it says right at the front, oxybenzone free. That's great, but it doesn't say oxynoxate and octocrylene free. They're still there. They have avobenzone. So it's again a matter of education.
Mhm.
It'll take a year or two to educate. It'll need funding. What we need is to go after, educate the CEOs of these corporations. How do you do that? We can buy one share of a stock of those companies and bring it up before the annual general meeting as the stockholders. Once that gets the traction, I'm sure they will change their formulas. And maybe sometimes they can make more money by changing to all natural. We've seen Whole Food versus other supermarkets.
Mhm.
Whole Food make a bigger profit, but people are willing to pay for that. If somebody says Reefs safe, please don't believe it until you read the ingredients. There are some brands that call themselves that. And please make sure you read the ingredients of those brands that they say the name of that. Just for clarification, I did not say that they do or they do not. All I said was just to read the ingredients.
Mhm.
Many times this falls at reading the ingredient is the only way to know for sure what you are getting. To help this, the EWG Environmental Working Group has put together a rating system for sunscreens, and you can do an advanced search and filter results by mineral sunscreens that are oxybenzone free. You still need to skim the active ingredient list of oxynoxate and octocrylene, but it gives an excellent starting point. It is also important to steer clear of sprays, since these release product into the air, increasing chance of contamination.
Mhm.
So to kind of review, look for mineral sunscreen containing zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, preferably indicating non-nanoparticles. This means they aren't small enough to penetrate the skin. This is safer for your body and for the environment. Avoid the 3 O's: oxybenzone, octinoxate, and octocrylene. Avoid any spray. The aerosol spray is bad for the environment. Don't believe everything you read. Unfortunately, some product that does say that it is safe on the label and does have the bad ingredients. More importantly, friendly sunscreen coupled with the wearing of rash guard, sun hats, and other covering, and avoiding extended direct exposure to sunlight when it is strongest can help ensure more safety for coral, sea life, and ourselves. The success of Toxic 3O sunscreen ban depends on all of us. I hope the 18 guests on this webinar today will become ambassadors to pass the word. One of the ideas, even President Clinton, during the Clinton Global Initiative, showed, he went that morning to National Park and he bought Stream to Sea sunscreen, and he showed it at the end of the, during his closing speech. I don't know, was any of you there? Todd, you were there for that? Or? So what happened was the night before, when he was coming back to St. John to stay the night, I happened to be in the same boat, and I told him he never heard these words before. So next day he said in his closing speech that he'd been swimming in Hawaii, these places, and he had no idea about it. And he urged everyone in the audience, 400 people, including senators and the governor. This is good because it's the middle of June and the vote for banning was end of June. It's a perfect timing. And he batted for us. And I did ask him whether he will agree to bring the CEOs of airlines and cruises with our tourism and the governor agreed to do it, is when you buy an airline ticket, now when you buy, it's a face mask mandatory, right? In your boarding pass or when you're making reservation. If you're buying a ticket to STT or STX, please note, these 3 ingredients are not allowed to be brought into the island. So when we wrote the legislature, we got a little smarter than we did with the plastic bag. We did not ban the sale only, we banned importation. So the customs will have to stop. That's where we have caught some of them. So to ban importation gave us additional strength to monitor this. But due to COVID, implementation enforcement have been not that easy. And the fact that the tourism has not yet marketed it is also a challenge. They could easily put in all their advertisements. Please note, come swim in the oxybenzone-free waters of the Virgin Islands, VI nice. Yeah, it could be a good tagline. But so far, I don't see much creativity and I don't see any action. But they have said they'll work with us, and Todd's in that committee along with Akil. And I'm hoping that we will able to get something done. That mark our word, with the help of the friends and other NGOs, with or without them, we'll get the word out. And so that is, as a team, with each of you advocating, we can make that possible. At the airport is crucial. We have a huge signage and telling them these are the good ones, give them a coupon to the local retailers. So now we are keeping retailers in business. We're not taking anything away from them. And we have a choice with over 200 products available in the market. So we're not restricting anything. We're just saying what they cannot be using. And we're making available what can be used. So in St. John, I know, I guess the supermarkets from Dolphin, Starfish, Chelsea, and other stores in almost every place so far that I've gone to, they have taken proper action. And it's, if I may say that I've never found another island, another community that's so cooperative to green missions than St. John. So that really had been helpful to us. The success of Toxic 3.0 sunscreen ban depends on all of us. And we touched, we need the community not only use safe sunscreen themselves, but to encourage others as well. Be an advocate for the environment, spread your knowledge. So when I'm on the beach sometime and I see them putting a banana boat or something that I know it's not, I share with them. They, oh my gosh, I had no idea. That's the first explanation. And sometimes, you know, I get this is before COVID. Now I can't give mine for them to sample. But that is something we should do. And I guess we are thinking of providing free sampling in a dispenser, so you're not even touching it. So there are a lot of things we can do, but it needs human resources and some funding and approval of the national park and the Port Authority. Any other questions that I can share, or I can keep talking a little bit more?
Harith, do you know how much, I've seen, and I think you mentioned this, I've seen a lot of what I would say is false or misrepresentative marketing of reef-friendly or reef-safe sunscreens, but do you know if any of the major producers are making, I mean, I'm thinking Hawaiian Tropic, Antonio was asking some of the big ones like Beach Bum or, you know, Banana Boat, are they making a serious run at reef safe sunscreens, do we know? Or is it more a marketing issue right now for them?
No, that I have not found a brand they do, but then Todd, if you may kindly put the slide from Chelsea Drugstore, that has quite a bit of choices. I believe now in the same, even the one brand, they have many versions, right? 35, 30 SPF for kids, the adults, the green, the blue. So you need to look, some of them are still hiding that other product in their ingredient. So be careful. But the thing, if you go to Safe Sunscreen Council, they are 100% compliant. But if you on the EWG, we have the larger database. There are few in this within the same brand or the name brand that has the avobenzone. So it is educating the consumer basically. And Badger is one of the larger brands. Alba, I believe. Todd, do you have that on? Or I'm unable to see. Oh, yes, there you are. Perfect.
And I do believe some of those are
So
probably, like you're saying, some of those ones that are pictured have a range of some that are probably mineral based, but some of them are sprays and may not be.
Well, at Chelsea, I've spoken with Heidi, these are all acceptable. You know,
Okay.
Certainly we are saying aerosol in the beach, but some people use sunscreen in your home.
Sure. Well, and I think, you know, you're right about the education. It's such a complicated issue. I mean, when I'm out there, even, you know, chemical sunscreens aren't effective if if they're not allowed to soak into the skin for a period of time. And what do you see at the beach? You see people spray them on or rub them on and immediately go into the water. And that, I mean, not only is it ineffective, but it's a huge waste of money. I mean, these people just spent a lot of money on chemical sunscreens that they, essentially rinsed right off. And so, the difference with these reef safe sunscreens is they're not intended to soak in, they're intended to be a barrier. And so you can apply them and have immediate protection. But again, that's a huge education issue.
So to your point, Autumn Blum from Stream to Sea, their product at Chelsea Drugstore, they have some brochures or little cards available as well with instruction. They say you only need a tiny drop to put it on. So even though you think it may be expensive, that product, if you use it according to instruction, it'll last you longer. At the end of the day, it might be even cheaper than some other name like a banana boat.
Right. So you mean we don't need to look like white zombies because we put it on so heavily like most people do when we're on the beach?
Yeah, I guess since I'm not 100% white, I will look like a zombie. Okay.
Are there other questions for Harith? It's a huge issue, and we're so appreciative of the leadership that you've provided, Harith and Island Green. We know we've got the ear of decision makers in our government, but it really does boil down to consumer choices and personal choices and education. And I hear you about signage. Everybody that has an issue wants a sign. And at some point the park says, look, if we put all the signs up people want, you're not going to be able to actually see the beach. So, there's always that balance. But it's such an important issue. And I know, the Friends have worked with Island Green and other partners every year to create literature that we do boater outreach with, we put in our stores, trying to educate visitors, because it's, I think most locals that live here, certainly have heard and understand and care. Most visitors are here because they want to be in the sun from 10 to 2, and most of the folks that live here try to avoid those hours. So, other thoughts that people have on how we better educate are certainly welcome.
I mean, St. John, in my opinion, we can do signage that can be left in every bedroom or every villa, through the Westin, the Gallows to Grand Bay, to every private villas. Mm-hmm. And also the ferry to announce, or when they board, these are the proper etiquette of beach usage in the Virgin Islands. It doesn't really even have to be just sunscreen only. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people don't know you're not allowed to smoke in the beach, but it gets to the pollution, they throw the cigarette butt. So Todd, for that, I have a question. The national park at Trunk Bay, close to the beach, have cigarette butt disposable units. Yes, that means they're encouraging, or that means they, in my opinion, it should be before you even come close to the beach, once you enter the national park.
Yeah, well.
And the park, I have a picture, the park zone rangers were smoking.
Yeah. Well, on a personal level, I certainly agree with you. I suppose, there's a lot of Americans that want a place to be able to smoke their cigarette and put their butts out safely. And yet there are those times when we see it on the beach in violation of the rules, along with lots of other things mm-hmm. like glass and boats and that kind of thing.
So if I may ask for all of the supporters, I would say to ask the Commissioner of Tourism to get the message out. He got that multi-million-dollar advertising budget. I'm not asking to divert any funds to this. All we're saying is give us 2 inches at the bottom right or bottom left from any ad, and just say that toxic sunscreen is not allowed, only safe, and give a web address. They can go and see what they are.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I would echo that folks like that hear from people like Harith and I and our organizations all the time, but it's individual citizens making those calls and inquiries and that really do make a difference.
Or write to the governor even. And the governor is fully on board, and thank the governor when you write and tell him what he did, we're appreciating. And his wife being a big support as well. But his commissioner of tourism has not acted for a year and a half. Nice guy, but no results.
Other questions or comments for Harith? You can jump right in or type it in chat.
Okay, as we are,
Sonia has her hand up, I think. Sonia, did you have a question?
Yes, sir. I just had a comment. I'm a visitor from the States. We're making our second trip next month. When doing research on my trip, it often led me to the website visit USVI.com. And there is nowhere on that website that it talks about the sunscreen ban at all. And I don't know what your contact is there, but it would highly recommend trying to get someone on there to put, because there's travel tips, there's sustainability, there's all kind of things like that on that website, but not one mention that I can see about the sunscreen ban and the reef safe sunscreens.
Okay, great. That's good to know. That is our tourism website. So as Harith said, we'll be doing more outreach to our tourism department. And I do know they're working on rolling out a new sustainability campaign. But as Harith said, this is something that's been in place now for over a year, and so
okay.
So we're
my challenge is we don't want this is nothing to do with the sustainable campaign. This is the law of the land.
That's
so
right.
They are trying to say that we are not ready to be ecotourism like Costa Rica. That's why we don't want to push this. That's not right. That's not what you're asking. It's the law of the land now. They cannot do it. Period. Thank you, Sonia, for bringing that to attention. Did you fly on American or on another airline?
We will be flying in on American. And,
Okay.
and I have it. The only reason that I knew about the sunscreen ban was I was looking for a snorkeling charter, and just one of the boats, and I don't remember which one, had something on their website about it. So that's why I've done some research and found a little bit of difficulty doing the research of what was allowed and not allowed. So I very much appreciate this webinar.
Our website, islandgreenliving.org, have lots of details and what are the brands. So if you want to go there, on American Airlines, they give a magazine called Destination. And we did manage to get a full page story on safe sunscreen.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And I would just add, Sonia, as Harith pointed out, you can certainly find reef safe sunscreen when you get to St. John. So if you have trouble wherever you're at in the States, don't fret. It's available here.
And actually the Friends, I know Todd's not plugging it, the Friends store is a great place to go. It benefits the Friends, and they are selling sunscreen there. The visitor center is also selling sunscreen there. I mean, certainly supporting nonprofits are great, and I would go there. But if you do want a larger choice, I give that where the Chelsea and the Starfish and the Dolphin, those guys come into play.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
This is Cindy. I do have a comment. We have a boat that's in the charter business, and I know it's a big community, and I know we try to make sure that we have reef safe products on our boat by supplying them, and some of the nicer charters do the same. But I think a way to reach out to the charter business to tell them this is the law here and this is a good thing for the oceans. You'll find that, you know, most of the people involved in that business obviously want to preserve
Right.
what we have. And I'm just wondering, I don't know the right channels, but I'm just wondering if anybody's explored reaching out to the charter business. You know, they have a big, I don't know if they're doing it this year. They have a boat show, just usually in November. You know, could there be something there, because that reaches out to all of the crews as well as all of the brokers, which is really important if they could add that to their websites. I just think you'd be reaching a lot of people and also educating not only all of the crews and the brokers, but every single client that steps on board any of the charter boats.
But Cindy, thank you for sharing that. And you already, Cindy, daughter Marissa, being a big volunteer for us as well. And they sit on our board, Ralph and Cindy. So thank you and very generosities as well. So thank you, Cindy. And what we right now lack is human resource, like intelligent folks, perhaps people like all of you who are listening and participating, doing some research and contacting, and then we can produce the flyers and the leaflets and get it out. But once we produce them, they'll be laminated, so it does not have to be done over and over again. And Cindy's right. I was in Salt Deck, I believe, and Kakowai also, I believe, they have now reef safe sunscreen given there, and they promote it. So if any of you are interested in trying to be part of, let's say, a safe sunscreen education council and or committee that like to identify where we need to get the message out, come up with a database, and in a volunteer capacity help with that, you know, that would be equally good as making a donation. And then maybe, like I said, this year, since Todd took over the national parks, it's been a whole different ballgame. And he's reaching out for collaboration. They're working as teams. And that's the only way to succeed. It's not one person taking credit. It's together we can succeed. And at Island Green, we are collaborating with Gift to the School, with the national parks, with their friends, and many other organizations. Together we can make a difference, not alone.
Yeah, thank you. And to be clear, I don't have control of the national park. We're the friends of the park, but we, I would just add that we try to do every year outreach to the boating community. And of course, every year we've got to update our list and our records and our affinity partnerships with the various businesses as they change. So that's an ongoing process, but certainly between the boating community outreach and the information that we send to our long list of villa owner partners, those are the two main ways that we're looking to get that word out. And Tonya, I know, is planning to do a peer-side chat seminar with the boating community this year to cover some of these important pieces of information. Sonia, did you have your hand back up?
No, sir.
Okay, that was just from before. Okay.
Yes.
Great. So yeah, we definitely appreciate the ideas, though. Keep them coming, and for folks visiting, when you're on island, feel free to look us up and stop by. We're here in Cruz Bay, and Island Green Living operates a great reuse and recycle depot up on Gift Hill in the middle of the island. So we're very active on several issues, but certainly as you have ideas or see opportunities, stay in touch. Any other questions or comments for Harith?
Hi, this is Victoria speaking. And I'm actually the new wildlife biologist here stationed on St. John, working for DPNR.
Oh,
and Yeah, so I would be, thank you so much for this, this seminar. This has been great. I learned a lot, and I would love to be a part in any outreach or help in any way that I can.
That's great, Victoria. Thank you for that. Definitely get a hold of us, shoot us an email, and we'll make sure we get you on the list when there's opportunities.
Yeah, Victoria, do you mind dropping a note through my website, and then I'll send you my personal information, the email, phone, that kind of stuff. You could use your knowledge.
Absolutely. I will contact both of you with how to contact me.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
And anyone else, if is interested in giving your intellectual capital towards how to educate the consumer of the sunscreen issue, let us, we were going to benchmark Dr. Paul Jobs's and Dr. Kim Waddell. They've agreed to take a baseline on March 30th that we planned on to see the oxybenzone level, and then a year later see how much of a difference this has made. So we may do that next year, January or February, when COVID things move around a little bit, and we're going to get national publicity for doing that. So I think it's a total education, and 95 to 96% of people will want to do the right thing. And those locals who are more money conscious, like me even, they're right at cost. They deliver here, and sometimes they put things on sale. And I was able to get sunscreen for like $9, something like that. It's a Badger. So, you know, you wait for the sales and then you get a few things. They got a fairly decent shelf life. And, but then again, we want to support the local stores as well. So it's really the hotel association has, Lisa has agreed to support it. The hotel association, Akil, the general manager of Gallows, is on that board. So they've extended it. UVI have extended their support. The governor, the senator, this passed unanimously. And the only people we need our help is now the tourism and the airlines and cruise ships. Some of the cruise ships we have spoken to, and they changed the product they're carrying on board. So it's really what President Clinton said, that he will get the CEOs together one place. That's huge publicity if we can make it happen. And so I guess what I'm looking for is some human capital to help to plan some of these things. I mean, even if it is a 1 hour a week or something like that, we can try to get it going. And let's allow our coral a fighting chance to flourish, which will help to keep our marine life healthy and protect ourselves as well. It is not just a law, it is good for us and the environment. Let's put an end to the toxic sunscreen burn. Yes, it's a burn. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Harith, and thank you, Todd.
Okay,
Thank you very
all.
much.
Appreciate you being with us. And
Thanks, Harith.
Hi, Cindy.
Thanks
thank you,
again.
Harith. And we'll be in touch.
Thank
and
you,
working to, and remember, all of the seminars this week are recorded and will be available at friendsvinp.org. So thank you all. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All righty.